Hi, and welcome to today's podcast where we have invited Darren Hayden Joseph from LJ Tax, USA. Darren, can you also give us a background of what you do and what your firm specializes in?
Okay, HTJ.tax, and the website really is HTJ.tax. So we help demystify the sometimes confusing world of cross-border taxation. So we work with private clients who are exposed to multiple jurisdictions. So essentially, if you're just exposed to one single jurisdiction, we're probably on the best team to work with you. But if you are a business owner, investor, nomad, or just an international expat who's exposed to multiple jurisdictions, we can help you structure your situation to be optimal while 100% compliant. And on the back end, we help you with tax returns as well.
So, Darren, I want to now ask you about two of the important numbers that you hear quite a lot when you're operating a US LLC, and those are ITIN number and EIN number. So can you explain to me what these are, how they differ, what are the use or case of it, and why are they so connected to a US LLC?
It's quite reflective, or is it quite a similar situation as what obtains in any other jurisdiction, like in the Emirates, right? If you're in the Emirates, you need to have your Emirates ID, and that kind of is like your identification number for getting things done, whatever your ID is. And similarly, when you form that company, the company ID, the company reference number is important for getting business done as a corporate entity. So similarly, in the US, the ITIN, or the individual tax identification number, is one of the first numbers that you'd probably want to get a hold of. This is assuming that you hold interest in the LLC in your own name, which we touched on previously, but I don't normally advise clients to do. But if you've done it and you hold interest in the LLC in your own name, then you would need to get an ITIN, an individual tax identification number. You would get that by making an application. The default is you fill out something called a W-7 on your own and submit, but you need to submit your passport, and you need to send it by courier to the IRS. Most people don't like doing that. So what I advise clients to do is find a certified acceptance agent, and you can just go to the IRS website and have a look. Just filter for wherever it is that you are based, and you get a list of CAs or acceptance agents in your jurisdiction. So you contact one of them, but it's not limited by geography. So if it is that you're in the Emirates, you can contact an acceptance agent in London or anywhere, because these transactions can be done internationally, electronically, and so on. So anyway, so you contact your preferred acceptance agent, you complete the application, the W-7, they'll verify your identity, there's a certificate of accuracy, a copy of your passport. Now, they've cracked down on ITINs in the last few years, progressively perhaps over the last 10 years, because it, as you would imagine, has been subject to a lot of fraud, people obtaining ITINs for their pets and using that to get deductions and all sorts of nonsense. So the default rationale for getting an ITIN is to file a tax return. That is the default. If it is you're applying for an ITIN and it is not pursuant to filing a tax return, it'll be under one of the exceptions, and they tend to be very specific in the rules as to what exceptions would apply. So if it's not listed in those exceptions, chances are it's going to be rejected. They reject, and the rate of rejection is pretty high. So you'd want to liaise with that acceptance agent to make sure your application gets submitted in the proper fashion. So that's how you get your individual tax identification number. The processing time, the IRS says is 6 to 8 weeks. We're seeing a processing time right now of perhaps 8 to 12 weeks. So a little on the higher side. Again, we're getting into peak time right now. It's kind of like tax season internationally, because there's a filing deadline. We're having this conversation in October 2023. There's a filing deadline for mid-October. So things are become a bit backed up. But say about 3 months is the turnaround time. Now, the EIN is the entity identification number. So this is for your LLC. If it is that you are a U.S. taxpayer, you can do it online in less than 5 minutes. The application, it's on the IRS website. and it's super easy. It's not a problem. If it is you're international, for example, you're not a U.S. taxpayer, which most people perhaps listening to this would fall into that category, then it's going to be more time consuming. You can try to do it alone, but it's difficult to navigate, as many things U.S. government related. So you probably want to speak to an advisor who is familiar with the application process for doing it internationally. It involves filling out the same forms, but it needs to be faxed in, and they need to get like a power of attorney, and then they mail it to you. Or normally, what we do is we call in about 2 weeks. We send it in, we send it in, and then we call in about 2 weeks, and then you have to fax it just to make sure it's you, and then they give it to you on the phone, and they fax it back to them. Fax it back to us. So we get it in about, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks. But those are the two forms that you would need for tax compliance as well as for banking purposes as well.
So if you're a 6, 7, or 8-figure investor, entrepreneur, or business owner who needs a tailor-made solution from a qualified team of professionals, we can help you achieve the international lifestyle, the freedom, and even the tax savings you're looking for. Visit us at htj.tax and live that international life.